Hello everybody, and welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. We did one a couple of weeks ago in Ship Explorer, and we are back once again. Today, we kind of got a special video because not only is this something we haven't done before, but it's also to commemorate an anniversary that happened over 40 years ago. So today we are going to be playing vROV Pilot Titanic. Now this was a game, well, it's not really a game, more of an experience that was made by the team Megalodon, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but I don't have it here in front of me, who went down to the wreck about a year or two ago, and they did a huge photogrammetry scan of the wreck, and they converted all those pictures into a 3D model, and the model was so big that there was no real way to show it or to share it, so they lowered the quality down just a bit, and they were able to pack it into Unreal Engine, and they were able to export it as a game. So we're going to check that out today because it is the 40th anniversary since the wreck was discovered. I'm just seeing you all in the chat there. The music is a bit funky in the menu. If it's too loud, just tell me to turn it down. We can easily adjust all the volume levels if needs be. But yeah, I've never experienced this before. I loaded it up earlier just to make sure that everything worked, but I didn't actually play it. So there's two levels. There's the bow and the stern. I believe that the stern is actually 100% quality, so there's no compression on the photogrammetry scans, so they were able to fit the whole 100% quality into the stern level. But I believe that the bow level has been compressed a bit just because the file size was so big. But we'll start with the bow version. I'm not really going to follow any of the objectives. Like, there are objectives to like search for certain things on the wreck. I kind of just want to go around and do my own thing. If there's anything particularly that you want to see, just let me know. We can easily go to whatever you want to see if there's particular parts of the wreck. We'll spend a fair bit of time in each section. We are limited to the time that we have. There is about 35 minutes and then you have to restart the level. But we can easily spend the same amount of time in both, and we'll just look around and see what the level has to offer. So you can see we just spawned in. We're in one of their ROVs. There's two ROVs, Romeo and Juliet they're called. And these are the two ROVs that we used to get all the photogrammetry scans of the wreck a couple of years back. You would have definitely seen it on the news. You would have seen, these 3D model pictures of the wreck and super high resolution photos. That's the team that did that, and they're doing this now. So this came out roughly, I think it was 8 months ago, just at the end of 2024. And I've always wanted to look at it, but I just never had the appropriate time to sit down and experience it. I've played other Titanic wreck games before. We've played Titanic VR. I don't think we've actually played Titanic VR live, but we have done a few videos on it before. But this is the newest Titanic experience that is currently available to us, and already just looking at the bow here, the quality is absolutely insane. Like, so this is technically, like, you could call this the most accurate model of the Titanic because it's a scan of the real wreck. This hasn't been handmade by someone in Blender or in SketchUp. This is actually real photos that were all stitched together to make one solid model. So, like, you're looking here at these railings. These railings are the exact dimensions and exact size and proportions and everything because they were taken from the real wreck themselves. So it's just amazing to see the quality. Obviously now when you get a bit close it'll get blurry, but that's because of the compression levels. We won't see as much of that in the stern, but just already looking at all the rusticles and stuff growing on the side, like especially on the railings there, it's incredible. But yeah, it's been 40 years since Dr. Robert Ballard and his team discovered the wreck, and it was actually a boiler was the first thing that they discovered while they were searching. They found a boiler in the debris field, and they kind of followed the trail then of debris, and it led them to the side of the ship, and it was kind of like a hull, like the side of the hull, and they described it as being a massive steel wall in their way, and they kind of raised up slowly, and then they were able to see, I think it was around the forecastle kind of forward superstructures where they kind of bumped into that, and then they raised up and they could see that, okay, this is actually a ship that they're after coming across, and it was obvious based on the location what ship they had found. So these graphics, yeah, their graphics are absolutely stunning. It's made in Unreal Engine, so usually anything made in Unreal Engine these days, you're going to be blown away by the quality of it. And just even not walking around, but we're sailing around in this ROV, and like I'm getting a real sense of scale, even though I'm watching this on a computer screen. I can get a real sense of scale for how big this is, and it's incredible to say the least. Like even the texturing work on these photos, like the photos came back so clear. It's actually amazing. I'm absolutely blown away by this, because like this is my first time hands-on. I haven't even watched videos on this software, so like I had no idea what I was kind of coming into with this. But it's absolutely amazing. I think there's some kind of a special if I press like, yeah, that's very cool. You can do like a kind of like a scan to see. I have no idea what that's for, kind of locating things. I think you can also do this as well for scanning. But yeah, this is absolutely incredible. You can see here, if we turn around, that is the cargo hatches there, and you've got the mast which is collapsed on the front, and it's kind of bent all its way down. That's where the crow's nest would have been, just sitting. That's actually, I think that might be the base of it. Like this bended piece of steel might be kind of the shape of it, but it would have been attached to this here, and this would have been the door that would have allowed, or this would have been the bottom door actually. I'm looking at the wrong place. So if we go up here, this would have been at the base of the mast, and you would have went in there, you would have climbed all the way up, and it would have brought you roughly somewhere along here, and you would have came out, and then you would have been in the crow's nest. And there's a lovely shot now of the bow, and there's the #1 cargo hatch. So it's believed that when the ship was coming down to the sea floor, when the bows slammed into the mud, the pressure of the water inside the ship forced the #1 cargo hatch right off. It blew all its bolts out, and it sent it like roughly, I think, 100 meters forward. I'm not sure if it's in the scan. I don't know if they put it in the scan, because it looks like the scan roughly ends there when you look at the textures of the dirt. So I don't think the #1 cargo hatch is over there, but nonetheless we can see just about inside. Thanks to the scans, we can actually have a little look inside and see what it looks like. So we'll have a look down here. Now, because this is a photogrammetry scan, they weren't really able to get the ROVs inside all the spaces, so there isn't much of an interior to look at per se, but we can still get a little look in here. Now this is, you have to be careful going down here, because these ROVs, they have like a health thing, and if you damage them too much, you have to restart the level. But as you can see, there's a bit of detail, but the scans obviously didn't come in this far, so there's just kind of like the main kind of walls, but a lot of stuff is just missing, and that's just mainly because the scans weren't able to get down this far, which is perfectly fine, because obviously you don't want to risk putting these really expensive machines into these tight places and potentially getting them stuck and then losing them completely, because they're very expensive. You want to go to the bridge? Okay, we will go to the bridge. We'll go over the forecastle here and over the cranes, which are still in their positions, which I think is amazing. You can see here, we can actually interact with things here.
Turbo Productions super chatted $2. You should do more streams like this.
Turbo, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. You might have heard Mr. Murdoch there. I thought that was in the game for a second. I was like, did they add Mr. Murdoch to the game? Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, I would love to do more streams like this in the future. We did one a few weeks ago of Ship Explorer, the new experience made by Ocean Liner Designs. It went pretty well, like I think I had done it at a bad time, so there wasn't many people in the chat to interact with, but nonetheless I would love to do more live streams in the future, and I would like to have people on with me, like guest speakers and guest viewers that are able to interact with the chat as well. We did a few before a couple of years ago, but it's been a really long time, so I would really like to do more of that kind of stuff. Wahoo, I see Nathaniel Priest has entered the chat. He's a long-time viewer and a familiar face around here. He's also a good friend of mine. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Okay, we'll go to the bridge first, and then I see you want to go to the crane, the lifeboat davit that Murdoch deployed. Yeah, we can go there too. So here we are at the bridge. I think this is amazing because I'm just like speechless by this because I've seen so many pictures of this. Is the telemotor that the bridge helm was attached to. So obviously, because the helm itself was made out of wood, it is long since corroded away, as was most of the bridge. That is why a lot of the bridge is actually missing here, because a lot of it was made out of wood. So as the ship came down, the wood kind of broke free away, and it would have rotted over time, of course, as well. But as you can see, there is the telemotor. So
that didn't sound good.
That didn't sound good. Yeah, we just hit the telemotor. Wow. So if we just park here, the steering wheel would have been right here. So this would have been the enclosed bridge, not the outside one with the telegraphs. This would have been the enclosed bridge with the telemotor. So the wheel would have been attached to this. And you can see just the kind of outline of where the walls would have been to enclose this room. And then I did see what I wanted to look at was the plaques. The plaques are here. Usually during every expedition going down to the wreck, the divers leave a plaque dedicating, to the passengers and crew who lost their lives. I don't think we can make out some writing, but I don't know if we'll be able to make it out perfectly. But I know that I'm almost certain that Jim Cameron has left one here. He's probably left more than one. Paul Henry Nargeolet, who was a late victim of the Titan incident, he most definitely would have left a plaque here in his time when he came down on his numerous expeditions to the wreck. But yeah, you can see there's a few of them. There's at least 5 or 6 of them there, and there's more of them scattered around. They didn't just put them here. There's actually some back down on the forecastle as well. But it is actually amazing just to be able to see that they're even here as well. We can't read them, which is unfortunate, but they are actually there, which I think is incredible. So we want to look at the lifeboat davits as well. So it's incredible. There's a davit on each side. We'll go over to this one first. So it's amazing to think that this davit survived the trip down and is still in place on the boat deck. So this would have been, it looks like, yeah, it's in its swung in position. So it had lowered 2 boats and it was getting ready to be hooked up to the collapsible lifeboat that was on the deck houses, and they had swung the davit back in to be able to hook it up to the next lifeboat, but the water had rushed onto the boat deck so quickly that they didn't have time to hook it up to the davit, and the davit was left then in this position because they had no time to swing it out, so they just cut the ropes and they set the collapsible free. I think it's incredible that this davit is still standing upright in its position. I think that's amazing. These Welland davits were designed in a special way that, they could swing forward and backwards both ways, so you could store multiple boats on the boat deck. Like, these davits were designed to carry way more lifeboats than were on Titanic, and as you could see in Olympic's later career, when they added these extra lifeboats, you can see that, especially during the wartime when they had the extra rafts and stuff on the deck. These davits were able to swing both directions to hook onto lifeboats and then sway them over the boat deck and then into the sea, which is amazing, I think. And there's another one even on this side as well, and this one I think is in its swung out position, which means it was in the process or had just finished lowering a lifeboat into the sea. So you can see, this davit is actually swung out. You can see it's at an angle. So a lifeboat would have been lowered down the side of this. And there would have, of course, been another davit. There would have been another one parallel to this. And it would... You can see, actually, it's bent a bit, but you can see it's actually in its swung out position. And if we go down, we can actually see. So this is kind of the view that passengers would have got in the lifeboats as they were being lowered. They would have seen the promenade. They would have seen the portals here. Like, that is actually incredible. I know this is a scaled down version of the resolution, but I have to say it's still very clear. Like, you can make out everything. You can see the rivets under the windows there. You can see the windows clearly as well. It's actually incredible. And I think actually there's a few davits here on the sea floor that would have fallen off over time, whether it was when they hit the seabed or if they had fell off on the descent. I think this is one over here, just in this kind of raised part of sand. It looks like the base of one just there, which is incredible. It looks like this was a davit at one point anyways. It served its time and it's done its purpose. No, the iceberg damage would be on the other side. We'll go over there in a second and we'll have a look. You can see here though that this part of the hull has kind of burst outright when it hit the seafloor. You can see like it's not lined up with the rest of the bow. It's actually pushed out and away from it. So that's obviously going to cause some structural integrity problems and definitely weakened the ship's stability over time, and will probably be one of the aids to its collapse over time. It's just amazing there seeing the enclosed promenade windows. Definitely one of my favourite features of Titanic over Olympic was the enclosed promenade. I thought it added a really nice sleek design to the ship. And here we have the officers' quarters would have been in these windows here, and it's amazing that some of these windows here are swung out open. And if you ever watch James Cameron's 97 Titanic film, you will see at the start of the film when they're down in the wreck, you'll see these windows, and you'll see several other windows like these. They're exactly like this. It's actually perfect. And of course that film used real footage of the wreck as well. And I believe in his documentary Ghosts from the Abyss, there's a great shot he has here of it's the wreck, and then they kind of have a flashback to sinking, and you have all the passengers and officers on the boat deck, and they're kind of rushing around trying to get into the lifeboats. It's absolutely incredible. And this is of course where the first funnel would have stood, and you can actually see how badly it was teared off. Like, I feel like in some animations and in some films, including my own, it kind of looks like the funnel kind of was a clean tearaway, but you can see it was anything but. It was ripped pretty badly from its base, because you can see part of it is still enclosed, and you can see the inner and the outer skin of the funnel. The outer skin was of course to prevent the heat from transferring, so if you put your hand up against the funnel, it would have been very hot if it didn't have this inner skin to keep the heat from spreading out to the outer skin of the funnel. And wow, this is just incredible here. So we would have actually had let me see now, I don't want to say this before I get it wrong, but we would have had the Marconi room somewhere along here, or is it behind the funnel? I can't remember. I don't know off the top of my head if it was in front or behind the first funnel, but it's incredible. You can see a ladder there. Like, this was a ladder that obviously ran the inside of the funnel, and you can see all these inner pipings as well that are absolutely... It's incredible. Why is there a gap in the boat deck? Whereabouts in the boat deck? Are you referring to this gap here? This would have been one of the expansion joints that ran the ship to allow the ship to kind of flex, kind of like a bus. Those long buses in the city, or even a train. They have those kind of rubber expansions to kind of let the vehicle, or the ship in this case, flex a bit in the sea. Because if the ship was one rigid structure, it would crack in rough seas. The whole structure would just crack under force. So there was a few of these expansion joints that ran the length of the ship. I think there was 4 of them, or 3 of them in total. And this would have been the first one. And that's why it looks like the ship has broken in half. But realistically what it was is just, it was an expansion joint to allow the ship to flex. And the expansion joint, of course, has corroded over time, so it just kind of leaves the hole. But you can see that is where one of the expansion joints would have been. Even more of these windows here again. Yeah, you can see them. Yeah, the Queen Mary would have had them, absolutely. Lots of liners at the time. Even cruise ships today have them. Because if you had one launch ship without any of these, it just wouldn't be able to... it would crack in half as soon as it entered rough waters. It wouldn't be able to... You have to allow... It's the same with a bridge. You have to allow structures to flex, because if they're put under too much stress and they can't flex, then they'll just shatter. It's amazing here. You can just see the damage done here. We would have been able to see the captain's bathtub, but unfortunately they said that when they went down, they went looking for it and they couldn't find it, which is really sad to think about, because of course we would have all been familiar of the pictures and the footage from the Titanic film of the captain's private bathtub, but unfortunately it has been lost. It's believed that the floor that it was sitting on has collapsed and it has fallen down deep into the lower levels of the ship, but it would have been around this area if it was still there. I think in Titanic VR it's visible. Now, it's been so long since I explored Titanic VR as well, but that's a hand-modelled wreck, so that wreck is like hand-modelled, so it has an interior, which is great. It's not the most accurate, but it is still, it's got an interior. You can go deep down into the grand staircase and go all the way down to the bottom. Now here, this is what I was looking for. So the Marconi room would have been through this skylight here, this little square skylight. I don't know if there's much we can see. I don't want to bang off the thing because we're going to damage the ROV, but the skylight would have been through, that skylight would have led to the Marconi room. There was another one here as well. And this one would have led to kind of like their quarters within the Marconi room as well. And I think they're debating whether they should bring up the Marconi wireless machine. I think, there's a kind of a 50-50 on whether it should be preserved or if it should be left because they don't want to disturb it. I personally think that it should be recovered if it is possible, and it should be recovered in a way that has the least amount of damage to the wreck as possible, because you don't want to have to cut a hole or force your way in to try and get to this piece of machinery. So if they can do it in a way that doesn't harm the current state of the wreck, then I am all for it being recovered, because I think it would be a fabulous piece to have on display in museums and to kind of go on tour and be able to see it like around the world. They could put it in an exhibit that goes on tour around the world. I think it would be absolutely amazing. Reminds you of Ken Marshall's paintings, yeah. Ken Marshall's paintings have become kind of like an icon or a staple when it comes to either the Titanic or the wreck itself. Like, he's done some fabulous photos of the wreck. Especially I know there's ones of there's an iconic one of Alvin exploring the bow, and it's still got the paint on the hull. It's not like a rusty photo, it's more of kind of like the ship hasn't rusted yet. It's got its kind of red and black hull still, and you can just see Alvin kind of in the background floating around with a little light kind of exploring. Now here would have been the grand staircase, and as you can see, it's just a big gaping hole, and that's because basically the entire grand staircase was made of wood. So as the ship sank, the wood would have kind of expanded and wanted to float, so it would have forced its way out of the ship, and that's why you've got this huge gaping hole. But you can see we can actually go down a bit into grand staircase. I don't know what deck we can go as far down as, but this is where Titanic VR really shines, because in Titanic VR you can go all the way down to the bottom. But you can even see here, there's the pillars that would have held up the ceilings. You can see there, I think that would have been a light that's like hanging by its wires still. One of the many lights that would have been in the room. You can see that would have been another pillar there. It's probably just not loaded in properly. And of course you would have had the clock pretty much here, but of course we're not sure if the clock is actually there or not. I don't know if it's actually there in real life or if it has gone missing, but I think that would be something I'd love to see recovered as well. Of course, though, it was basically made out of wood, so the majority of it would have rotted away by now. But I think it would be amazing to have the hand-carved Honour and Glory crowning time with the clock preserved. But of course, because it was wood, it's probably all rotted away. Reminds you of Spammels. Yeah, Spammels did a lot of he did a lot of Titanic VR videos back in the day. He used to love going in. He used to do a lot of them kind of side by sides then and now, videos, and I always enjoyed them. He would use Titanic Honor and Glory, and then he would also use Titanic VR to kind of he'd go into certain rooms or certain parts of the ship and he'd compare them side by side. So you can see as we go further back here, the damage is becoming more and more apparent, and you can see this is kind of where the bow collapsed in on itself and it broke its back. So it's very hard to make out things here, but you can see there's definitely some winches and motors still here. I think that's one of the air filters, I think, or an air duct. I could be wrong. I need to brush up on my Olympic class machinery stuff. I don't know all the machinery. I used to be very confident on knowing what each piece of machinery on the deck did, but it's very hard to tell when they're in this state. I'm trying to see if we can get a look in on any of these floors, if any of them kind of have a view for us to see. It'd be really cool. Yeah, Brightside. Brightside don't really go into their research that much. They kind of they're putting out the videos because they know people will watch them. And, you know, everyone loves to know the story of the Titanic, and you know, I don't know how many Titanic videos they've done over the years, but I always see them pop up every now and then. And I know Sam from Historic Travels, he really, really, really dislikes the Brightside videos. But yeah, I just saw in the chat there, yes, the boilers. Here are the boilers. I think this is incredible. It's actually amazing. You can see the rivets. If we get a little bit closer, you can see these are the dampers here. So these are the holes that the coal would have been shoveled into to keep the fires going. The fires would have been, there was 3 in each boiler, so 2 kind of higher and then 1 in the middle that was slightly lower. You can even see the rivets here. It's absolutely incredible.
Kochu 444, cruise ship emoji, anchor emoji, super chatted 8 cents. Can you go to the bow of the ship? I'd love to see it.
Go to the bow of the ship. Yeah, thank you, Kochu, for the donation. Yeah, we were at the bow already. We'll circle back there because the experience is about to end, and then after that we'll go and look in the stern. We were just taking a look at the boilers there, and you can just see the line of them there. It's actually incredible. It's incredible how big they are as well. I always kind of forget like the sheer scale of them. Yeah, the currency difference definitely has done something there. I'm not sure if it was 8 cents or not. I'm not sure what that converts to. I'm not sure what currency yours is. ARS. I don't know what currency that is, I'm afraid. But thank you anyways for doing the donation. I really appreciate it. Let me see. I'm just kind of looking at the debris field here. I wanted to see if there was anything available. See, I don't think there's anything out there. Like, I don't think they did any of the kind of debris fields or anything. I think it's just sheerly the bow and the stern, and then you have the random bits here that are just kind of part of the bow scan itself as well. It's the Argentine peso. Okay, thank you for that. I have no idea what that evaluates to in euro. I use euro here. I have no idea what the difference is. I'm not a banker, I'm afraid. I don't know my exchange rates. Well, it's totally fine, Coach. I appreciate any donations, no matter what the size, are all greatly appreciated by anyone. And I know you actually donated a few channel members as well on the previous video. I really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. Yes, I did see something about their working to make the game VR. I would definitely do that. I would love to. I have a VR headset. I have an Oculus. I would definitely love to use the VR version of this. And I love how the title of this game, it's vROV Pilot and then Titanic, which makes me think, you know, this was made by a company that has serious assets that are able to go down to various different wrecks and do various different scans. So I would hope that they could do more ships in the future and release them just like this as separate experiences. And I know there's one that I would absolutely love to see a Britannic scan done in a similar style to this, and to have a Britannic wreck exploration, because that wreck, the condition of Britannic's wreck is absolutely incredible, because it sank in a warmer climate. There isn't as many sea creatures to eat away at the hull. I think it is absolutely incredible, the condition that the Britannic is in, and if there was a vote to decide on another project for them to do, I would be picking that one straight away, because I definitely think that would be a really fun wreck to explore, especially because there's no other way to explore the wreck of the Britannic. Yeah, it's in shallow water, but the wreck is privately owned. You need permission to be able to dive to it, and it's still 100 meters down, so you need to have the proper certifications to be able to dive to that depth. You can't just put on your goggles and go for a swim. You need to be able to have the certifications to dive to that depth. So we got about 6 minutes left here. So here we have a gaping hole, and we can see we didn't go to this side yet, so there's a great view now. That is absolutely incredible. No, I don't know about the Saxon Star. It was sold to a Greek company. No, I don't know anything about that. What was its fate? Did it sink, or was it sold for scrap? And the camera can be a bit weird sometimes when you're trying to use it, but I want to use first person so that I can get a good view. But it gives you a sheer sense of scale. It's absolutely incredible. The water ain't soft at all. No, the water's very hard. Any little ding off the wreck as well will completely destroy the ROV. I've already lost 23% of my hull strength when I accidentally banged off a railing. So yeah, we're back at the bow again. We'll finish up and we'll do a little circle around the bow, and then we can finish up and we can go and look at the stern section, because the stern section has a much higher quality scan. I think it's the full 100% quality, which is really interesting. But I would love to definitely, you said it's coming to VR. I will definitely look at this again when it's in VR, because I think it'll give you an even more crazy sense of scale. You can do one of these as well. I find that really cool. I don't know what that does, but it lets you see the details even more, and I think it's really cool. So yeah, I don't think the #1 cargo hatch is over there. There's we're in Romeo, so that's Juliet, the other ROV there. Which makes me think the reason that they have the two ROVs, are they potentially planning to try and make this multiplayer? To have like 2-player co-op, because I think that would be absolutely incredible. To have 2 people exploring side by side at the same time. And I completely forgot there's something we didn't explore. The bow anchor, we didn't even look at it when we were over here. We'll have a look at it now. There's the massive bow anchor, still sitting firmly in its place. And that's absolutely incredible. I would ask them to raise it, but I have to say there was a replica made a couple of years ago, and not only was it made by the same blueprints and the same drawings and to the same specifications as the original, but it was made in the same place as well, which is absolutely incredible. I don't know where it currently is on display. I'm not sure if it was brought to Belfast or not. I think it might be in the UK, like mainland UK, but I definitely would love to see this anchor brought up, like, because it's the original one. Like, the replica is cool, but the original one, you can't beat the original. And it's probably, all you'd really need is to secure it tight enough. I'm not sure what's its structural condition, but I imagine it's not that brittle. I imagine it would survive pretty well. No, I do have a Discord server. It should be in the video description. If it's not in the video description, then it'll be on one of my videos, or it'll be on my main channel's description. You can join through there. We're actually in the process of revamping the Discord server at the moment, so I'm going to be redoing a lot of channels, doing a lot of doing a lot of roles kind of and rules, getting everything updated, because I want to get the server up and going again, make it more active, because we had it very active at a point, and then I kind of just let it slip. I wasn't updating it or adding new things, and I feel like we need to kind of get back to doing that again so we can keep it alive and keep it going. No, I wouldn't believe anything from Mr. Clive Palmer. He's been saying that since, we're coming up, we're over 10 years that he's been saying this. We're nearly 15 years that he's been saying that Titanic 2 is going to be a thing. He's never going to build Titanic 2, and I it's a sin and a burden that I carry with me every day, that yes, I share the same name as his cruise company. And let it be clear that I have no affiliation with that company whatsoever. I don't intend to have any affiliation with that company whatsoever. I have no intention of being branded as a company that is trying to make a Titanic 2 replica. I have no interest in seeing that come to life whatsoever either. It's just not practical, and it's disrespectful at the same time as well. There's just no need to see it. We don't need a Titanic 2. If they wanted to build a miniature replica that was a permanent dock thing, then yeah, sure. But he wants to try and build a fully functioning sailing Titanic 2, and he wants to get a cheap company in China to build it, and he wants to have all these new amenities inside. It's not going to be a replica. There's going to be a casino in it, he said, and he wants to have I think an indoor water park or something. It's now his newest stunt. Why would he want to have a water park inside? It's absurd in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I based my company, or my company, not my company. That's what I based my channel off. I based it off the original Blue Star Line, which was a shot. We've lost our signal. Dead sub. So that's the end of the experience. You can just reload it again, and it'll let you go back. And actually, it might let us take over Juliet now, because Romeo is dead. I don't know is it going to kick us out, or is it just going to stay like this? I actually don't know. Let me look at the controls and see, is there actually a way to switch ROV? Ah.
Unfortunately, it seems that you haven't managed to complete the mission.
Yeah, we weren't trying to. Okay, I didn't realize you can switch between the two ROVs. I thought you could only do one at a time. So that's really cool. Yes, I have seen... I'll just click restart on this for now. I'm just going to catch up with the chat because I see you've been asking questions. I've seen the Titanic 2 that they were trying to build in China at the resort. That's abandoned now. There's no... that company went bankrupt during the COVID pandemic, and it's been abandoned and it's been left to kind of rust. It was nowhere near being finished, and they have no intention of finishing it now. They ran out of money, but they also ran out of workers. The working conditions were awful. They were treating the staff horribly. They were underpaid. It was dangerous. I think a few people died. They fell to their death trying to build this thing, just like the real ship. And yeah, that never intended to be a replica either. It was going to be a replica from the outside, but the inside would have been completely different. There would have been no grand staircase or no first class dining room or reception room or smoking room. It would have been an all modern interior. There was no intentions for that to be a replica interior wise. It was always going to be kind of a replica on the outside, but the inside would look nothing like the original. And yeah, they ran out of money. They had too big of an ambition. It was never going to happen. It looked like it was because of how far they had got on, but as soon as COVID came around, and then the rumours of how the workers were being treated and that they were severely low on income, passive income and money, COVID happened, everyone left work, and then when COVID ended, they came back, but there was no money, there was no income, so they just completely gave up, cancelled the project completely. Not just the Titanic, but I'm pretty sure the entire resort that they were planning got cancelled, completely. Not just the ship itself, the entire resort was cancelled too. So just quickly while we're here, just before I load into the stern section, I want to go this direction. I want to see if the number 1 cargo hatch is there. It very well could be here. And if it is, I think that would be really cool. But it should be around here somewhere. And I don't think it is. But so far, I'm really enjoying this experience. Let me know if any of you have played this before. It's on Steam. You can get it on Steam. It's I think it's a really fair price. It's like €20. It's absolutely worth it in my opinion. Especially if they're going to be adding VR and stuff to it in the future. You know, it's €20. It's not free, unfortunately, but I think it's €20 very well spent, in my opinion. And you know, you can definitely get it on a Steam sale as well. There's always a Steam sale on nearly 3 or 4 times every year, so you can definitely pick it up in that period as well. But no, it doesn't look like there's a cargo hatch here, unfortunately. That's fine. I didn't really think there would be. You know, it would have been extra effort to go out this far and to scan this direction. So that's fine. Like, I wasn't expecting it. It's fine. Like, you know, I'm really impressed with what they have done. I'm trying to think, does Titanic VR even have the number 1 cargo hatch? I think it does, but it has nothing beyond that. Like, you know, it's a very limited, like, map per se. But I think we've had our fun with the bow section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a neat freak, and I'm going to park Juliet up beside Romeo. They can be together, and then we'll switch over to the stern section, which I'm really excited for, because it's a 100% scan. There's no decompression whatsoever. So we'll just park up beside here. Look at these two, aren't they beautiful? Amazing pieces of machinery. Cool. So if we go back to the start screen here, very nice, and we'll just go in, and again, we're not trying to do I know there's an objective to try and make you have to like go around and scan certain things. I'm not trying to do that. If you want to see me do that in the future, we could definitely do another live stream where I go around and I try and do what it's telling me to do. But for now, what I'm currently trying to do is I'm just trying to explore. I just want to see everything. I don't care about picking up or scanning items. I just want to see. I just want to see everything that is available to offer. The original Blue Star Line wasn't made in the 90s. It's much older than that. It was the 19th century. Like, it's just as old as the White Star Line. It was made in the I think it was early 1900s is when Blue Star Line was originally founded. It wasn't part of the I don't think it was part of the International Mercantile Marine. Like, JP Morgan didn't have it. I don't think it wasn't like part of that group. Or no, you mean it lasted? Yes, it lasted until the 1980s. Yeah, apologies. Yeah, it went. I'm not sure if it went bankrupt or if they just like decided to close the business. But yeah, they had a great fleet of ships over the years. Like, if you ever go on Wikipedia, there's a list of like every single Blue Star Line ship, and there's also some a former Blue Star Line employee has made a website with like outlining all the ships, like from the very beginning up until the very end. They had some massive bulk carriers near the end of their time. Now, I'm sorry, but this is incredible. You can see here the propeller, and I can already tell this is way higher resolution than the bow. Like, I can just tell by looking at the hull that the scan itself is a way higher resolution. You're enjoying my Blue Star Line emojis. I put them together for the channel members. I'm going to have to find more things for channel members. Like, I need to kind of offer more to my channel members to kind of convince them to join. I was just looking here to see if I could see the stamp on the propeller. I don't see the stamp. But of course, for Titanic's yard number, oh, that might be the 0 there. Oh, it's there. Very, very. The light kind of makes it hard to see. You can kind of see it there. There's the 401. You can see the 0 and the 1 You mightn't be able to see the foot. That is incredible that you can see them. The light kind of ruins it, but if you just see off to the right of the light in the middle of the propeller blade, you can just see the 0 and the 1 there. That's incredible. That's, of course, Titanic's yard number 401 when she was being built in Harland and Wolff, and then Olympic was, of course, yard number 400 because she was built before. The Britannic was the awkward one and had the slightly longer yard number of 433 because there was a lot of ships built in between Titanic and Britannic. Oh no, is Aaron 1912 back? I thought he disappeared a long time ago because people weren't believing all his theories that were going around. You know, he was a big supporter of the V-brake theory. I thought his channel got deleted years ago. And when I mean years ago, I mean like at least 5 or 6 years ago at this stage, no? That's the last I remember, is his channel being deleted. So I want to go around here now and we're going to have a look at the other propeller. And yeah, as you can see, the stern is obviously in a far worse condition than the bow. The stern had a really rough descent to the seafloor. You know, it imploded on the way down, and it had boilers and you know, parts of the engines falling out of it and just ripping it completely asunder. Let's see, have a look now if we can see. There might be a stamp on one of these blades as well if we get in and have a close look. So look, see, I don't think so. I'm not sure if every single blade was stamped. Probably won't see that one because it's kind of half in the sea. We'll pull up a bit here now. Oh, we're going to bang our head. Pull it back a bit. Yeah, as I was saying, you can see here the deck was completely ripped and bent back. So it's actually covering the like poop deck is completely covered because half of it flew back like a receding hairline and just covered. This would have been where like the docking bridge would have been and all that, but you can't see it because when the poop deck was pulled back and it completely just covered all this. So this is actually this is the lower deck in here. Wow. So yeah, as you can see though, the stern just looks like an absolute... It just looks like it was thrown into a blender and spat back out. It's completely destroyed. It's very hard to kind of point out certain places. Like, we're coming up, you can see the mast there in the front. We'll head over and have a look at that. That's the stern mast. Have a look over here now and see. You can see it's completely bent again. It's moved over this way. See more air ducts and winches thrown over into the sand over there. If there's anything again you want to see in particular, just let me know in the chat. Like if I'm moving too fast over something, because we have another 28 minutes to explore the stern. So if there's anything you want to see again, definitely just say, and I'll happily go over to it. Yeah, we all do Titanic content. I feel like it's kind of like if you have a YouTube channel that's related to maritime or ocean liners or just ships in general, I feel like it's essential that you need to have at least one video on the Titanic. And here's another Welland lifeboat davit. It's in pretty good condition, actually. I know one of them was raised. I know that there's been a lifeboat davit that's been raised. I'm not sure if it was taken from the bow or if it was taken from the stern. I'd imagine it was taken from the debris field, which is likely from the stern. So it would have been one of the stern lifeboat davits, but if anyone knows where the raised lifeboat davit came from, which part of the ship, let me know. Bonus points to you if you know, because I don't. It's just a lot of clunked up and bent metal here. It's just really hard to kind of identify anything. It's incredible how, like, I knew the stern was in bad condition, but look, being able to see a full 360-degree view of it now, I'm actually blown away, because I know in Titanic VR the damage isn't this bad, but this is a scan, so this is what it really looks like, and it's actually incredible. I don't know what this would have been down here. Would have this been the base of the fourth funnel? I actually have no idea if this could have been the base of the fourth funnel. Hello, Marley. How are you? And we have Caleb in as well. Taylor, good to see you. Welcome on in. We're just exploring the stern section, trying to piece out where in God's name are we. I believe this is the base of the fourth funnel, but I could be wrong. Because I'm just trying to think of anything else at the stern that would have had something going that deep. There was a few cargo hatches, but I don't think the hole was this big for a cargo hatch. I could be wrong, I don't know. I wouldn't give your hopes up, guys, for Titanic. For Titanic 2. It's a dream that's like been dying and is dying ever since it was announced. It's not going to happen. It's just it's unrealistic, and it's from a logistical standpoint, it would make no money. They would have the maiden voyage, and you'd have the news reporters on the maiden voyage, and you'd get all the press for the maiden voyage, and then as soon as the maiden voyage is done, everyone would forget about it. Everyone would forget about it. There'd be no point. It just wouldn't be worth it, you know? Now, here are the two big columns for the reciprocating engines. I think it's incredible that these are still kind of intact in the way that they are. Of course, they've been absolutely abused, but yeah, Titanic 2 is a fantasy. It's the only way to describe it. It is a fantasy. You know? It's exactly what it is. You know, like, every now and then you'll see the website get updated and you'll see Clive Palmer say something, but like, nothing's happening. Nothing is going to happen in regards to that. It's just a dream. It's a fantasy. It's pure fantasy. I know it sounds harsh saying it, but it's true. It's not going to happen. So I want to. I know that in Titanic, I know. I keep comparing Titanic VR to this, but they are similar in ways, but they're also they're very unique. They have their own unique traits. I know that in Titanic VR, when you come to the reciprocating engines, you can get in way further because it's hand modeled. So they obviously kind of designed it in a way that you could get through. And you could go in, like, I mean, it looks like this is as far as we can go in, and I don't really want to expose any imperfections of the scan, so I don't want to, like, go in places that I shouldn't be going. Save that for other games like Honor and Glory. I love exploring places I'm not supposed to in Honor and Glory, because it's very easy to do so. And of course, I'm sure some of you are aware we've live streamed a lot of the Honor and Glory demos over the year. As you particularly know, I'm a very big fan of Demo 401. I think it's amazing how well it's put together. It's extremely optimized. Everything works really well. Everything looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's just... I just really like how well it's put together. And if that's a taste of what Project 401 is going to be... Now, I know Project 401 is a separate entity to Titanic Honor and Glory itself. Like, it's made by the same people, but it's a separate program. I look forward to playing both of them. I know we're probably a fair bit away from Honor and Glory, but we have Project 401 to look forward to, which is, you know, it's on its way. We still haven't been given, like, of course, a release date or anything, but, you know, it'll be coming sooner than Titanic Honor and Glory is, of course. I'm just trying to see, like, is there any way I can tangle myself in my own cable that's coming out of the ROV? It's kind of designed in a way that, you know, could I tie myself or not? It would be interesting to see. I know it's just an infinite cord, but it'd be interesting to see if you could kind of tie yourself up. Because that, of course, would be something you could end up doing down here in real life. You could accidentally get the cable in a knot, and that would not be ideal. Thank you, Marley, for saying you've subscribed. I appreciate that. Every subscriber, whether you're here from the very beginning or you're just joining us, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us, especially on tonight, commemorating the 40th anniversary of the discovery of Titanic's wreck back in September of 1985. I had planned to try and do a little animation, nothing fancy, nothing like long or particular, but I had planned to try and do a little brief animation just of kind of the wreck. But then I thought, you know, I've done wreck animations before, I haven't played this yet, so I said I'll do the live stream instead, see how it goes, you know. Plus I get to interact with you in real time. Well, would you look, it's the RMS Titanic itself in the chat has appeared. We're exploring you right now, sir. Good to see you, thanks for coming in. Again, I have no idea where we are.
Kochu 444, cruise ship emoji, anchor emoji. Super chatted 8 cents. Will you make a video of the sinking of the Titanic 2 like your previous video? Also, do you like my Titanic 2 ghost edit?
Coach, thank you for the super chat again. I don't think I'm going to do a sinking animation of the Titanic 2. The only reason I did that video especially because that video was to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Titanic 2 film. Now, don't get me wrong, the Titanic 2 film is a serious imperfection, to say the least. It is a burden every time to watch it. It is, you know, it's painful to watch. But at the same time, look, it's a ship film, you know. I feel like if it wasn't based on the Titanic 2 itself, it wouldn't have gone down as bad as it did. Like, if the ship was called something else, had nothing to do with Titanic itself, I feel like it wouldn't have done as bad. But like I said, the reason I did that animation of the ship departing is because it's one of the very few scenes that is watchable in the film. The departure scene from New York is one of the very few watchable scenes that isn't really badly done. So I picked that scene to remake, and I remade it especially because of the 25th anniversary, because it's 15. I'm thinking of something else for the 25th anniversary. We're doing something else for the 25th anniversary. There's a 25th anniversary of something else coming up in a few months, and we'll be doing stuff for that. Yeah. It's the 15th anniversary of Titanic 2. Apologies, I probably said 25 several times. It's the 15th anniversary of the Titanic 2 film, and that's why I picked that scene to recreate. It was actually really nice to see there was some people who commented on the video, you know, being surprised that I actually acknowledged the 15th.
That didn't sound good.
Oh my god, I'm going to crash this ROV here. I'm trying to read the chat. Yeah. I did it for the 15th anniversary. I don't really intend on doing any more Titanic 2 2010 movie related stuff. It was kind of solely for that purpose only. I don't really intend on doing any more for it. You know, maybe for the next anniversary we could, but again, the way that it sinks in the film is just ridiculous, so I just feel like an animation of that would look ridiculous as well. I feel like there's no point on doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's too much going on. There's a tsunami, then there's an iceberg, then there's another tsunami, then there's an explosion, then the thing capsizes like the Poseidon, then it sinks by the bow, but then it flips back over, and then it sinks by the stern. Like, too much going on defying the laws of physics there. Way too much. Something you can do with the timer is pause and return to the experience, but what I'm worried is if they change it. So I just click pause and I click resume. It still says 17 minutes. Is that what you mean? I click pause and resume. It stops the clock. So like if I was to pause it, it stops the clock, but it doesn't reset it. It's alright though. 35 minutes is more than enough time. I'm not trying to complete the objectives. I'm just kind of exploring. We can do another live stream in the future, trying to do the mission itself, if that's something you'd like to see. But yeah, we changed a few things around for this live stream. I got a different chat because the last chat was chronic. I didn't like the design of the last text chat. It was like speech bubbles, and like it was taking up way too much space. So I went with this one instead. It's a much cleaner, much more easier to read chat for me and for all of you as well. It was very hard for me to read the last chat on the stream. The font was so small and it was so pixelated. But this one's going much better, so we'll definitely be sticking with this one for the future. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't work. It's fine. 35 minutes is more than enough. Now, if you only had 35 minutes to explore the entire thing, that'd be a bit more of an issue, but 35 minutes for each section is more than enough. And we can always just load back in again if we need to. It's as, as simple as that. Wow, look at that. Incredible. That's okay, Coach Yu, if you have to study. That's perfectly fine. Thanks for coming into the live stream, and thank you for the super chats. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll see each other again in a future video. Thanks again for coming in. Okay, we should actually, we'll go and look for one of these. I see on the radar there's like things coming up. Apologies again for if I just end up going quiet in the middle of it. I'm just taking it all in. I'm just kind of exploring it all as is intended. But like I said, I think they've done a really great job on this. I really am enjoying this, and I would love to see them do more shipwrecks using this technology. I think.
Careful.
Oh wow, that was bad. Okay. I would love to do more. I'd love to see them do more projects like this. I'd love to see Britannic done because of the great condition that Britannic is in. I think it'd be absolutely amazing to go on around and explore that. And of course, it's unfortunate, but it is happening. The SS United States, of course, is going to be unfortunately sunk in a few months' time to become an artificial reef in Florida. So, that would be another opportunity if they could scan the SS United States after it's been sunk and be able to explore that in a similar simulation to this. I think would be very cool as well. There's hundreds of ships that they could do this on, and they have the technology to do so. So I really think it's something they should take advantage of, because there is a market for this, 100%. Titanic 2 2010 is basically if Titanic and Poseidon had a baby together and it went wrong. Yep, pretty much. I like the Poseidon films. I know they can be pretty cheesy as well, but I do actually like the 2006 Poseidon film, which is the newest one out of all of them. I just like the soundtrack. The acting was okay. Like, it wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. You had Fergie in it from the Black Eyed Peas. We got to see her get absolutely swooped by water going into the ballroom. But yeah, the Poseidon Adventure, of course, is the classic, the Poseidon Adventure, where they use the Queen Mary as the ship for that. I like that. I've never actually watched the 2005 one, believe it or not. I've never actually watched Poseidon 2005. That's something I can perhaps do this year for New Year's Eve, or before New Year's Eve. I'll watch Poseidon 2005. get an idea, because I imagine the ship sinks. It's called, I imagine it sinks in a similar way. I know there's something about a bomb or something about a C4 or something. There's like a terrorist attack or something, and I know that's what happens in 2005. But if I was to pick one, it's the one I've seen the most, is 2006. So that's the one that I would have the fondest memories of. One thing I like about the opening from 2006 is the opening credits in CGI. Yeah, the opening scene is very well done because it's one continuous shot. It's like it's very well could be a 2 to 3 minute shot that is completely continuous, and like it's a mix of CGI and live action as well, and it's very well done. And the music, of course, that goes with it as well is it's a very strong soundtrack. And yeah, Kyle did recreate it. I had actually plans to recreate it myself, but it's just very hard trying to do that continuous shot in an animation. You kind of have to try and split your clips up, or you're just going to have one really long clip that's continuous and takes hours and hours to render, which is not ideal. The opening shot, the first shot when it comes out of the water and it does the pan around the ship. But yeah, it's been recreated a few times. It's I've tried to do it. I will try again, of course. Like, I'm definitely going to give it another go. It's just that there was 1 year where I tried to do it, and I was there in my render and engine trying to do it, and I just failed miserably. And I was like, I'm not doing this, and I gave up. But I'll definitely try it again, because it's one of my favourite shots in the film. I was actually talking to someone who does similar animations to me a few weeks ago. He did it. He managed to pull it off in the same video editing software that I have. He was able to pull it off. So I'm kind of looking to him for advice, and he said he'd show me a few tricks that helped him kind of achieve the look that he was going for. I use 12.5. I don't use the newer ones because the newer ones have ray tracing built in, which is great. Like, ray tracing is amazing, but it basically doubles or triples the time of the render. And in the earlier versions of Lumion that have ray tracing built in, they're not the prettiest looking ray tracings, and the performance isn't the best. You have the student version. Yeah, the student version is pretty good. I used to use the student version, and then I was lucky enough to be able to obtain a license for 12.5, and 12.5 was the last version that they released that offers the lifetime license. Like, the current versions of Lumion don't offer lifetime licenses, which sucks. I feel like everything should have a lifetime license. I don't want to pay for subscriptions, but of course that's how they make their money. It's a business strategy. But I use Lumion 12.5. I used to use, at the very start, I used Lumion 11 because 12.5 didn't exist. So like my first 3 or 4 Lumion videos would have been done in 11. And the way you can tell is when I moved from 11 to 12.5 is when you see that my ships start moving. Because believe it or not, in Lumion 11 I was not able to animate moving ships. It was awful. You couldn't animate moving ships in Lumion 11. It was torture. So as soon as 12.5 came out, I actually had contacted Lumion before the release of 12.5. They had released 12 and it had brought in a serious bug that made it so that smoke couldn't be placed on moving objects. So I had to contact Lumion and I had to explain to them that I need to be able to place smoke on moving objects. So like funnels, I need to be able to place smoke on funnels that move. And they were able to make it work, and when they updated from Lumion 12 to 12.5, that feature was added. Now I'm not sure if it was me alone, if I'm responsible for that being added, but I could be one of the reasons. I'm sure I wasn't the only person looking for it though. I'm sure there were hundreds of other users that needed that feature for various other reasons as well. But I'm just glad that it did get added in, because I'm not sure if I'd be using Lumion now if it didn't, because you know, it's kind of vital to be able to add smoke to moving objects. You're majoring in film in college. How did you convince your college to give you Lumion for film? Because Lumion wouldn't be considered a film engine. It's more for architectural projects. So like that's how I was able to obtain it. I was able to obtain it through the architectural way of things. Like if when I was in college, if I had told them I needed Lumion for film, they would have laughed at me. I wouldn't have been able to pull the strings with that. No, I was able to get it through the architectural way, because I had to do a bit of architect in college during my time, and I told college I needed Lumion, and that's how I got it. Yeah, we're kind of just circling around here. We're just looking, because you know it's there's not as much in the stern, because it's like it is a smaller section, but also just because of how badly compressed and damaged and when I mean compressed, I don't mean low quality. I mean how everything is crunched in together from the implosion. You can see now, actually, that's impressive. Go back into first person. See the like steel supports running up the interior of the wall. That's really cool. That's cool. Amazing. It's always made me curious as to the whereabouts of the funnels. Well, the funnels kind of had an interesting fate because, you know, they were essentially hollow. So, like, when they fell off their supports and when they fell into the sea, you know, they would have sank down with the rest of the wreck, but because they're hollow, they kind of crushed in on themselves. They wouldn't be, you know, standing upright, or they wouldn't be on their sides in their original form. You know, they were made out of really thin sheets of metal, like really, really thin. So they would have collapsed in on themselves pretty much instantly. A fun fact is when the Queen Mary was being converted into the hotel after she was retired from Cunard, they took the original funnels off so that they could remove a bunch of stuff that was deep inside the ship. So they took the original funnels off, and they intended on putting them back. But when they took the original funnels off and they set them down beside the ship, they collapsed in on themselves because of how light and how thin the metal was, because they're not designed to be left like that. So of course they were old as well at the time, so you know, the years of decay probably assisted in doing so. But yeah, they collapsed in on themselves. So the funnels that are actually on the Queen Mary 1 right now are not the originals. They're remakes. They're replicas. They had to be remade from scratch. The same thing happened with the Queen Elizabeth II, I believe, when she was getting her new engines installed and being converted to a diesel electric. They had to take the funnel off, and they were going to replace the funnel anyways, but I think the old funnel collapsed in on itself as well. But they were going to collapse, or they were going to replace it anyways, but it did collapse in on itself as well. I used the paid version of DaVinci Resolve to edit my videos. I used to use Filmora. If anyone knows what Wondershare Filmora is, I used to use that years ago. And then they started getting sloppy. They started adding in a bunch of things to the video editing software. Like, I had paid for a license, and they were adding in pop-ups and ads. Like, ads in a video editing software, and it really annoyed me. So I moved away from it, and I went to DaVinci Resolve. And I've been using DaVinci Resolve pretty much for, you know, three years plus maybe now at this stage. And I think Filmora has now added in a bunch of AI stuff as well, and it's just gotten really sloppy. Like, just really sloppy. You know, it used to be great because it was easy. You could just throw in your clips. cut them up, you could slap music on it, and you could do a few effects where needed. But it just got too much. I had to learn DaVinci Resolve when I was in university as well. Like, it was part of my academic course. So like, we were given licenses to DaVinci Resolve, and I still own that license. You know, as part of my course, we were all given a permanent lifetime license to DaVinci Resolve, and I still use it to this day. So like, the fact that I got to learn how to use a new editing software, and I was given a lifetime license to it for free, I might as well put it to good use, right? There's so much more you can do in DaVinci Resolve than you can do in like stuff like Filmora, or if people are still using Windows Movie Maker. Is that still a thing people are still using? I don't know. But yeah, it's never let me down. It can be a bit demanding to run. You know, you need to have good specs when you're rendering and stuff. You know, but you can use proxies. You can set up proxies so that you can kind of edit at ease. But I've never had an issue with it. I've been using it for a while now, and it's never given me any issue. We're going to park. We have a few minutes left. We're going to park Romeo. I'm going to give Juliet a spin. And back down here at the stern. Because I keep forgetting. I forgot we could switch between the two. I find that really cool. I wouldn't have known that. I had to go into the controls and see. We'll just finish up here, and we'll look at just basically the stern again. Kind of around here. Get a good look at the propellers and a good look at the... what's that? That's hanging off the end. That's not a davit, is it? How did a davit... No, it's not a davit. I don't know what that is. No idea what the piece of metal sticking upright is. It's too high to be a railing. Coral Video Studio. I've never heard of that one before. No, I kind of went from Windows Movie Maker was my very start. I feel like everyone started off there, especially, you know, if you grew up on computers that I know Windows Movie Maker isn't a thing anymore. Like, it doesn't come on computers, but Windows Movie Maker used to come on every computer. And that's what I started with years and years ago. And then I moved to Filmora, and then I went from Filmora to Resolve. And I've used Adobe Suite. I've used the Creative Cloud. I've used After Effects and Premiere Pro as well, but I'm not a fan of them. They just keep crashing. They need to be rewritten, in my opinion. Like, the whole program needs to be rewritten, and that's just too much work. They're not going to do that, you know. But I use my Photoshop. I use my Creative Cloud. I used to use Adobe Flash when that was still a thing. They've gotten rid of that now. I don't think that's offered anymore. I used to use Adobe Audition as well. Oh, we're running out of time.
This is an operation that demands...
Oh wow, you're cutting me right out. We're back on the stern again. Oh, it's a bit laggy. Let everything load in. Just give it a second to load in. There we go. That's better. Okay, we'll have a quick sweep. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a quick sweep over the stern again, and then we'll just go into the bow one last time and have a look, and then we'll wrap it up, because I don't want to drag... We dragged on the last live stream very long, and I don't want to do that again. You know, I don't like having really long live streams, because I want people to be able to watch this after as well. Like, just because you didn't watch it live doesn't mean you should miss out. So all my live streams go public after they've been played. That you can watch them at any time in your own convenience. We'll just do one pan over. I'm going to keep an eye. I'm keeping a closer eye on the chat now. I'm sorry if I missed anyone's questions or anyone's queries about anything, but I'm looking at the chat now. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to add. I use something similar. It's not the fog. No, it's a similar item though. I don't like to say because I like to keep it a secret. It's kind of my trick of the trade, but I'm sure you can guess yourself what it is. If it's not the fog, it's something else. I'll tell you later, don't worry. It's my own kind of... I did that trick myself. That was a little thing that that was a little hack that I had to come up with on my own. Because there's no way to do bow splashes or wakes in Lumion, unfortunately, so that was the closest way I could replicate one. But I have no intention in staying on Lumion. I'm trying to learn Unreal Engine 5. I'm desperately trying to learn Unreal Engine 5. If anyone was willing to teach me Unreal Engine 5, I would be forever in their debt. I can give you as many 3D models as you want in return. But, yeah, I don't want to use Lumion anymore. It's too limited. I want to use Unreal Engine. A few people promised to teach me the basics, but that was quite a while ago, and I'm not sure if that's going to come to tuition, so we'll have to see. Like, I've tried doing it myself. Like, I've tried picking up the ropes, but I just can't. Like, I keep forgetting where things are and how to import stuff and how to set up the cameras and everything. I don't know how to do it. Friends of yours use Blender, yeah. Blender again, that's another thing. I have no idea how to make animations in Blender. I only use Blender to edit models, and when I mean edit, I mean import them and export them. That is all I do. I do not model in Blender. I solely model in SketchUp. I'm not a 3D modeler. I do basic 3D modeling. I'm able to edit models that exist already and like change things, but I wouldn't be able to 3D model something from scratch. Like, I have no idea how to make the shape of a hull. I can trace a hull, I can do the tracing in SketchUp, but I'd have no idea how to do the 3D thingies. How? Are you able to import a 3D vehicle simulator model into Blender? Into Blender? I don't know. You should be able to, yeah. You can definitely do it into SketchUp, but of course it depends on the model itself. If it's an encoded model, so if it's a DirectX.x file, so like a .xx file, then no. You can't import a .xx file. You can only import .x files. If it's got the two X's, then it's encrypted, and you won't be able to do that. But if it's got the singular X, then you can, yes. I've never done it directly into Blender. I like to go from SketchUp to Lumion, not from Blender to Lumion. So, because SketchUp is just for me, SketchUp is so much easier. I can just go in, move things around, retexture something, and then use Lumion Live Sync to literally just bring it directly in to Lumion. Instantly. Done. No questions asked. Hi, Omega. Yeah, it is 40 years since Bob Ballard discovered the wreck. And he didn't discover the stern first, he discovered the bow. I'm not sure if I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, if he discovered the bow and the stern on the same day, or if it took him a few days to find the stern after he had found the bow. I can't actually remember. But okay, what we're going to do is we'll go into the bow for about 5 more minutes, and then we'll leave it there, guys, because we've nearly been going for an hour and a half, which is, I feel like, a good time. I don't want to drag it. If we want to do more of this in the future, we can. You know, it's not going anywhere. We can do other programs as well. There's Titanic VR, there's a sinking mode and a wreck mode in that as well. I'm going to use Juliet for this again, because Juliet is closer to the wreck. Yes, he found the boiler was the first thing he found. Yeah, that's correct. The boiler was the first piece of the wreck that he found. And I have to give credit to where credit is due. Titanic Honor and Glory put up a video today where they used the original audio from on board the exploration ship of when they found the boiler, and you can hear them all jumping up and down and screaming with excitement, you know, being like, oh, it's a boiler, it's a boiler, it's a boiler, we found a boiler. And if you go on Titanic Honor and Glory's YouTube channel, you can hear it. You'll be able to hear it yourself.
Careful.
Yeah, wow, I just lost half my health for hitting the same railing again. Oh my god. What happened to the Britannic sinking simulator? Was there one? Was there a Britannic game? Do you mean the Britannic Patroness of the Mediterranean? It's made by HFX Studios. Is that the one you're on about? If it is, then that's on Steam. You can buy it. It regularly goes on sale too. It's on sale every now and then, and definitely worth picking up if it's something you're interested in. It's always on. It's a fair price as well. The only downside is it is on Unreal Engine 4, so the graphics aren't as good as what like Project 401 is going to be. I've always asked them, will they ever give Britannic Patroness of the Mediterranean Unreal Engine 5 upgrade? And I never got a straight answer, but it's never been a no either. And I know there's complications because it was two separate teams that made it. You had like HFX Studios, but you also had Titanic Honor and Glory. It's a collaboration, so like both of them would have to agree to do it, and it would be resources that both of them would have to take out of their own pocket. But it definitely is possible, and I would love to see it. After they were celebrating, they realised that they were basically on a great... Yeah, I forget which documentary Bob Ballard gets interviewed in a documentary. It might have been Ghost of the Abyss, or it could have been an older one, maybe Inside the Titanic. He talks about that, how they were all jumping up and down, screaming and clapping and cheering, and then like about 2 or 3 minutes later they realised, okay, we are on a mass grave site. But of course, it's very hard to hold in all that excitement after discovering something that had been missing for so long, and being the first people to see it in so long as well. Like, it's for ship nerds like us, it's the same as seeing the man land on the moon. Finding the Titanic and seeing it up close, is incredible, I think, that they were able to do it. He mentioned it in James Cameron's 20 Years Later. Yeah, that's another brilliant documentary done. All the James Cameron documentaries, like, he just knows his stuff. He's a natural. He should, I'm not sure if he's working on another one. I know he kind of, like, he did one a few years ago. It was called Titanic: The Final Word. That was supposed to be his last Titanic documentary, but then he just kept doing more and more because people loved him so much. I think the newest one is Titanic 20 Years Later, and that was done for the 20th anniversary of the Titanic film itself, which was a couple of years ago now at this stage. But I just wanted to go down here because there should be more plaques here on the forecastle, up against this kind of wind barrier. Pretty sure there was a plaque laid here somewhere. I don't know. I could be mistaken, but I thought there was a plaque laid here. I know there were signs on this. There was like a sign, that would say, it would say no passengers beyond this point. But I mean, passengers weren't supposed to be up here anyways. So if they were up this far, they were already gone too far. But no, it doesn't look like you can see it. But yeah, again, really cool. It will turn 30 in 2 years. The James Cameron movie. Wow, that's incredible. I remember I went to the cinema to see it released for its for the 21st anniversary. They brought it back to the cinema, and it was the 4K remastered version of the film, and that was incredible to see. It was very, very cool. You just can see the ladders there. Very cool. Okay, guys, we've circled around both sections a fair bit. I think we're going to leave it there. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, I had never played this before. This is my first time playing it as well, and I really enjoyed it. I'll definitely be going back into it again in the future. I thought it was really nice to be able to do it today, since it's the 40th anniversary of the discovery of the wreck. I thought it'd be a little bit different, instead of just putting up a video and leaving it. I thought it'd be nice to hang out with you for an hour or two and just kind of explore the wreck. Like, it's amazing how well it's done. The lighting and everything is incredible. It's just phenomenal. Oh yeah, no, yes, I forgot to say, yeah, it was 3D as well. It was the 4K 3D version. I got to see the 3D version as well back in 2012 for the 100th anniversary of the Titanic sinking, and that was phenomenal as well. But the 4K 3D version was absolutely phenomenal. I was blown away by that. But yeah, everyone, that's going to do it for this live stream today. I want to thank you all for coming in. I want to thank everyone for who dropped. If there was a few donations there, I want to thank everyone for that. I want to thank anyone who subscribed during this. I know I saw a few new subscriptions come in during the thing there. So thank you everyone so much for watching. And if you're watching this after it's been broadcasted and after it's been live, then let me know down in the comments what you thought of it. And if you want to see more stuff like this, drop it down in the comments, because I'm really enjoying stuff like this. I'm happy to do more stuff like this all the time. It's very little. It's very easy for me to set up stuff like this, and I love doing stuff like this. I enjoy it. It's different from the traditional animations that I do all the time. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm sure we'll be doing another live stream very soon again, and keep an eye out on the channel, especially in the months of September, October, and November, because I have a lot of things planned for these 3 months, and I really want you to focus on these 3 months, because especially this month the YouTube channel celebrates 10 years. It'll be the end of this month will mark the 10th anniversary of this channel. So I have a few ideas cooked up, especially in this month and October and November. So keep an eye out over those 3 months for a lot of highly detailed videos that I'm putting a lot of extra effort into. So thanks so much, guys, for watching, and let me know down in the comments if you want to see anything else like this, and we'll talk to you very soon again. Thanks for stopping by.